Well, it was my first night sleeping in my school bus by myself, camping, since we got it last spring. And so I just thought I'd make a video. It's early morning right now. It's about 6:45 a.m. and I got up around 6, and just my body said, hey, it's time to get up, but it doesn't get light till around 8 out here. So first thing I did when I got up was realize how freaking cold it was in here. So I turned on my engine. I have the heater, had the heater running for like the last 20 minutes, and it finally warmed up in here. Now I bought a special heater just for this bus. It's a propane heater. It's called a Little Buddy, I think, or a Buddy heater, and it worked great when it was being tested out. But now that we're actually here, for some reason the thing won't start. It just won't turn on. So anyhow, I got up, I realized I forgot to bring some pans, and I also, well, I did remember my coffee. I remember my coffee filters and my little coffee, single coffee cup maker thing that I use. So I had all that stuff, as well as, you know, the trimmings, but I did not have a quality pan, so I ended up using this old aluminum one that, at least I had a pan, right? And I'm going to tell you, going camping is, it's something that my family and I have been doing. I mean, since I was a kid, I went camping a lot when I was younger with my dad, and it was always the same story. My dad was kind of a, you know, a backcountry backpacker. He didn't really care about, you know, all the, you know, fancy stuff, and neither do I. I mean, I can go out and rough it. I can have, you know, make my coffee through a paper towel if I need to. So I've learned to cope with little, but when you have a family, then, you know, you want everybody else to be comfortable, especially the wife and the kids. And it's funny because when I got together with my wife, it was in '98, and we did a lot of camping with her. When I met her, she had a son that was 3, so he's my stepson. I consider him my son. And we went out camping quite a bit. We'd go out whenever we could to the woods, go down to California, swung through the redwoods, came back up through Shasta. All of this in, like, mind you, in a little freaking Honda Civic. And there was a couple trips we took in my little Ford Escort, which was like a second-hand car that I got from when my mom got another one. So my wife and I both drove very small cars. And it was years later when I finally got an Astro van. And I'll tell you, I was in love with that thing. It was in 1990, and it was kind of the shorter model, and it was blue with tinted windows. I took that thing, I remember taking it to the first couple of years of Soak, which is like the regional Burning Man out here, and just having a place for myself, you know, and that's important. I ended up getting another Astro van, and then that one crapped out, and I let that one go. I probably should have fixed it, but, you know, I'm just not good about that kind of stuff. So anyhow, we ended up with the bus, something we both always wanted, and now that we can go camping, you can have everything ready to go. For, you know, just having a bus with coolers, with pans, a sink, and all this stuff in here, you would think that you could just jump in and go. But say you get home from a camping trip and you bring in some of the food containers so you can transfer some of the food indoors, or maybe you need something from the bus that you forgot to buy at the store, so you end up going out and forgetting to replenish it, and you don't realize till you're out there. A good example would be the heater hose, or the propane hose that goes to my heater and to my stove. I bought a 20-foot hose so I could run it in from the propane tank. And I get here and it's gone, of course. And I realized I was using it for a torch out in the garage. I was like, God dang it. But anyhow, it is what it is. Just embrace it. Now that it's finally warm in here, I can totally take this coat off because it's like roasting. It's a huge down jacket, but when I got out of bed, it was so damn cold, it was the only way to warm up. So once the sun comes up a little bit, enough for me to see, then perhaps I'll wander off on my journey, which is the only mission I have when I'm really out here, is to get a damn Christmas tree. I'm going to tell you, I'll probably do a video about this when I get it, but we went to, like, my wife and I looked online at several tree farms around the area to get a Christmas tree. Usually it's no problem. If you can either go to a tree farm, or if you don't want to, you can go down to the local place that sells Christmas trees. Usually it's the, where they bring them in from the farms and sell them. Nothing this year. There's none. There are no trees in Vancouver, Washington. I'm sure there's some in Portland, but it's crazy. Like, all of the farms sold out. There was one that had some trees left. We drove all the way up there. A little old man out in the field cutting down the last of the scrap trees. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I was closed last week. People were still showing up Sunday night, and I can't figure out how to say we're closed. So anyhow, my wife's like, well, when you're out there, your mission is to get a Christmas tree, so I'm going to find one. I'm determined. I know it's kind of a cheesy thing, having a Christmas tree, but when you live in the Pacific Northwest, it's just, why not? I would say, put it this way, if you live in California, in an area where there's no trees, please don't import Christmas trees. It's just not your environment. I mean, that sounds pretty selfish, but the amount of money it costs to harvest and ship Christmas trees across states into the desert region so people can have a tree is pretty absurd. But if you live in an area where they already grow, there's nothing wrong with going out and cutting one yourself. You can get a permit for it, or you can just go to a farm. But so that's my morning ramble. I'm gonna get with it now and get some breakfast.